All right, so now it's time to wrap up by making this locator driving system scalable. And if it works, I'll move ahead and do it with the upper torso stuff. So in order to inspect what I want to show you, let me do some toggling off of some of these viewport visuals because things have gotten really crowded. So I'm going to use advanced skeletons method of hiding stuff. And I'll just come all down here and hide everything here. Yeah, that should be it. This should turn everything off, including the skeleton. All right, so I showed this before. Well, I actually might want to turn one thing back on because I do look like I've lost my locators, because I do want to show them in view at least. So at the end of the upper torso lesson, I did show what happens to these distance nodes when they're scaled. Now, before I show it again, I do want to make sure I do a very important constraint that allows these locators that are sitting outside the rig, they are not connected to the skeleton in any way. And therefore, if I start scaling things, they won't move. So if I start scaling like this, they're going to start moving. Well, they'll move, but they won't scale correctly. They'll just do some weird offsetting or whatever it is. So what I want to do is select this global control, or I can select my, just to be consistent, I can go to my deformation root here and point constrain them to my deformation root. It doesn't really matter. I can use this global control, or I can use this deformation scale. I think I'm going to use this root because most of these locators are point constrained to this joint system. So just to be consistent, I'll just use that. So I'll select the root, select my const group and go constraint, scale constraint. And it doesn't matter if this is on because they are all zeroed. So I'll go add. So now when I scale, the locator should scale correctly, but you should keep an eye on the dimensions. So the locators stay put, they're scaling correctly with the rig. But as you can see, our dimensions are triggering, and this is horrible. This is dangerous, right? This is going to start triggering and de-triggering or changing the range at which triggers go off. So this is not good, right? It shouldn't be changing like that. And as I mentioned, this is a very simple solution of normalizing. And I know the first time I mentioned normalizing, I was speaking in reference to the tail. And because this is the normalization of this would require me to go into the guts of advanced skeleton, I wanted no parts of that. So that's why I used the technique I did where I allowed advanced skeleton to give me a global node that I know was properly normalized and would fit into this rig. But this is my stuff, so it should be easy to normalize. So let's go to the node editor. And I'm going to do this normalization for this stuff here in this bookmark. I don't know what that's doing there. Well, we do need it. It should be in here. We should be looking to add it. Let me see what that is. No, that's a scale constraint. I don't want it. So I'll minimize that. I'll get it out of here. And I do want to select the shape node of my distance locator for the front, the abs, because it's not in here. What I'm actually going to do is going to go display and DAG objects only. I'm going to uncheck that so I can find the set driven key. Okay, so it's one of these ones. It's BSHP for the abs. That's it right there. I don't know why I just scrolled past it. So I'm going to take that. And I'm also going to grab the shape node. Let me go display shapes so that I can grab the shape node for my dimension. Yeah, for the abdominal dimension, that right there. So that along with this blend shape node, and I'm going to add them to the view. And there they are. Yeah, this is what I wanted. I wanted it to come in connected like this so that I don't have to clear the graph and make a mess. All right, so there, now they're set up nicely. Let me make some space here. And the next thing I need right now is my global node. So this global node, I'm going to add it in here. Look for it right there. I think I need the main node. No, that's the shape node. So let me get rid of that. I need this. Let me open it up. Yes, this is definitely what I need. Yeah, it looks like I have the wrong one. It looks like I cleared the wrong one out of the scene. Yeah, I thought I cleared the shape node, but in fact I cleared the other one. Yeah, I don't know why I was staring at shape and I got rid of that. This is what I'm looking for. I want this, right? And I'm going to grab its scale value from here. Let me look for its scale. Yeah, that's it. It's over there. So I'll be using that. Let me clear this out. And what I'm going to need is a multiply divide node. I'm going to create 3 of them, even though I feel like I could use one for all these 3 for the sake of consistent. Actually, no, let me be conservative and use 1. So because a multiply divide node has 3 fields in it. So I'm going to grab a multiply divide node, open it up. And when I say it has 3 fields, I mean it's a vector thingy. So it has 3 inputs over there. So the first thing I want to do is change this to a divide. All right, so I'll change it to a divide. And for the input 2s, I'm going to dump in my scale value for my control, my global scale control, because as that scales, it's changing the scale value. So if I grab this and I look here and I scale up, those values are changing. So I just need one of them. All right, so I'm going to grab the X one. So I'm going to go right here, other, go scale, and I'm going to grab my scale X, and I'm going to dump it into the second input right there. And that should expose it and therefore allow me to minimize this and just access it directly. All right, I can use the same value for all these 3. All right, and in the input 1x, I'm going to put the distance nodes value from all these 3 outputs. Now, I'm not going to take the distance output here. I am going to take my what comes after my blend colors, because I do want my toggling system to start operating before the normalization process is done. So I do want the output R here. So I'm going to put that in output 2 here. All right. And then I'm going to put the output R here into the third one. All right. So this gives me the distance from here, my stomach vacuum, the distance from my chest expansion. Hold on. I'm sorry, that's wrong. I don't need both of these values. These are the same distance value that I'm trying to pull here. I could actually pull straight from this distance value here to get both of them. So I really only need 2 of these, because this distance value, which services those 2, is coming here. So basically in the first input is the distance coming from my abs, right? This is the default value that I want it to stay at when it's scaling. And this is the default for the rib cage dimension in the back. I want these both to stay the same. So to do that, I'm just dividing them by the amount of scaling up that I'm doing. And if you want to see the output of this, just to be sure, before you go plugging anything anywhere, you just create another multiply divide node like I did before, and just pipe these output X into input 1X, and I can put the other one into another input 2X, and I could just pin this here just to monitor them, just to make sure this is working. So if this is working, if what I've done is working, when I scale this up, none of these values should change, because these values correspond to what we're seeing over here. So if I scale up, yes, they're not changing. So that's what I need this to be fed into my set-driven key system. Right, I don't need them to change when a scale is happening. And now I can delete this. I don't need it anymore. And I can funnel this output X into my input here. And I can funnel this output Y into both of these inputs for my set driven keys. And now I should actually physically see this in the viewport. So if I select this and I scale up, at this scaled up stage, let me trigger one of these blend shapes. So I'll go back to my control and turn on my IK visibility. And I'll come over here and I'll trigger the stomach vacuum because that's the most evident one. So if I have a stomach vacuum like this triggering correctly, right? If I had what I had previously, so if I go back into the node editor, right? So back in the node editor, if this thing was receiving its distance from the distance that's changing, not the one that's normalized. So that would be the vacuum. So that's this one, the stomach vacuum. So if it was getting its distance directly from, say, this output, or either one, either from here or there. So if it was receiving from the R, which is where it was getting it from, if I plug it in, you see, it's not triggering, it's broken, right? So that means it wouldn't work when the rig is scaled up. And it makes sense because these values are now all out of whack. They're going up. And so now in the position where it's supposed to be triggered, it's basically saying it's a value higher than the value that it's supposed to be when it's not triggered. So that's what would have happened if this normalization process did not happen. All right, so let me undo and make sure that I'm getting my normalization and I am getting this working. So that is how you normalize this stuff so that it makes these systems scalable